Welcome back to the channel. Today we're getting back into reality transurfing. This is day 28 or chapter 28, creating an image. I like this chapter because Vadim Zeland goes over how to break beliefs, like beliefs, limiting beliefs from your past by using this image technique or this slide technique that he uses. But I'm going to break this down and give you an exercise on how to do this. And I'm going to break this chapter down because there's a lot of good stuff here, but I want to expound on it that way you can really understand it. I'm going to turn this into the magical way of manifesting and also the other form of manifestation, which is changing your concept of yourself. Because he does say in here that you can't create magically, that manifestation isn't magical and it can't be magical. But I'm going to expound on that and break that down because later in this chapter, he does talk about manifesting instantly, which I'm also going to get into. I want to break that down systematically here. Okay, so creating an image. In order for a thought form to become rooted in physical reality, it has to be reproduced systematically, which sometimes because we live in the three-dimensional world, the fourth-dimensional world requires an interval of time. Because like, for example, for me to know you in the fourth dimension, which is time, if I were to see you in the fourth dimension, if my brain was able to do that, the human brain, I would have to see you from the day you were born to the day you died, all at one time, in one movie slide. I would see everything all at once. But because our minds, the human brain, can't comprehend life in the fourth dimension, we live in the three-dimensional space, which with all of our senses, and then we're just passing through different time blocks in the fourth dimension, like passing through a movie that's already complete. All right, so in order for a thought form to become rooted in physical reality, it has to be reproduced systematically. You might not have thought that the process could be so mundane. It is just ordinary routine work, nothing to do with magic at all, and yet it really works. Mostly people just don't have the patience to keep at it. They experience a surge of enthusiasm when they are first lit up with an idea, but as a rule, their excitement quickly fades. This kind of comes back to people that will image or visualize something one time. They'll get the feeling of their wish fulfilled. They'll see themselves as the successful person that they want to be, or being in the relationship they want to have, driving the car that they want to have. They see that in their mind's eye for 5 to 10 seconds one time, and they feel that excitement, but they don't keep going back to that and assuming and sustaining that feeling state throughout the day and not wavering throughout the day and keep bringing that visual scene back or affirming throughout the day, keeping this coming back. So this is what he says here. The excitement quickly fades. For a goal slide to become manifest in physical reality, you have to run it through your thoughts for a fairly long period of time. And this is all based on your limiting beliefs from your past, what you consent to be true in your world, and what you consent for yourself in your lane of confidence. Like, how much confidence do you have in yourself based on your beliefs and your accomplishments in the past? Can you believe this can happen to you tomorrow? You know, things like this. Can you believe that? And changing your beliefs is visualizing or affirming something as already being done that you want to have. Repetitive, being very repetitive at it, and being persistent and consistent at visualizing all the time. Whenever you get a moment, you hit a red light in traffic, you're visualizing or you're affirming. Boom, you get to another point where you're waiting on your food to get finished cooking or whatever, whatever it may be. Then you visualize again, you're visualizing there, you're not wavering, you're doing this 10, 20, 30 times per day, every single day, depending on how much of a burning desire you have for whatever you're trying to create. And that's what he goes over here, that a lot of people, the excitement of it quickly fades and they don't go back to it because once they felt it, they've lost the motivation of it. You have to feel it. You have to continue to feel it until it becomes your new reality. And then your beliefs start to change once you keep retaining this feeling, because then it becomes your new identity as you continue to visualize and affirm and feel the end, being persistent and consistent and doing this all the time. So like he says right here, it comes down to the concrete work within yourself, affirming, visualizing, scripting, any sort of inner work that you're doing. That's what's reshaping your reality and your belief systems, everything you consent to be true, everything from your past that is limiting you as you're visualizing, affirming, is changing all these beliefs. Because the more you see the end, the more you can picture this new reality, this new identity of yourself, it's going to disregard any lack of belief that you have from your past. And if you stay persistent and consistent at picturing this, using these goal slides or affirming or scripting, you're going to break the barriers of all those beliefs from the past. But sometimes, like he says here, sometimes it can take a long period of time based on those beliefs, but that's how you overcome those barriers. So if you're trying to reach a very, very high level, changing your concept of yourself or creating something magical in your world, all those beliefs have to change depending on what beliefs you have. But the more you do it and you're consistent at it, the faster it's going to come into your world. And don't waver, just keep doing it, and it will eventually happen. And sometimes it can happen overnight. And that's what he gets into here in the interpretation. So as long as the rational mind is not fighting against the dictates of the heart, the unfathomable power of outer intention will emerge and materialize the sector of variant space this is what Neville Goddard talks about. When you impress the subconscious mind, when you're visualizing and affirming and doing all these things, it becomes automatic. It's then a habit. And like he says here, the outer intention will emerge automatically. Your outer intention will emerge, and you will find yourself automatically creating this new reality. Once you become this new person, you're then going to be going after this thing automatically. It's going to feel effortless. So when the soul and the mind are united, the image takes on sharp contours and manifests instantly. So when you break the barriers, as soon as you break that barrier of the beliefs, of your past limiting beliefs or any limiting beliefs and things you consent to be true in your world from what you're visualizing, from your goal slides or what you're affirming or scripting, that's when the thing will instantly manifest into your world once you break those barriers. So it can happen this quickly, or it can take a little bit more time depending on how much you do this and how well you impress the subconscious mind. So the world literally agrees with your thoughts about it. So why is it that as a rule, our worst expectations are justified and our hopes and dreams never come true? In life, what mostly happens is that the mind doubts whatever the soul strives towards and refuses to bring it into play. So this is your beliefs. He's talking about your belief systems and what you consent to be true in your world based on all of that. Or it is the other way around. The mind makes a compelling case for its own project, but the heart is indifferent. Beliefs. When unity between heart and mind is lost, the image becomes blurry and appears to split. The heart wants one thing, the mind insists on another. So this is all based on your beliefs. You're trying to imagine yourself having $300 million in your bank account, but your bank account's never seen $1,000 or $10,000 ever. So you're going to have that limiting belief that's not going to allow you to picture and put this in picture form. So that's what he's saying, the beliefs. But if you continue and you're persistent with this, you will break that barrier. You will break those beliefs and everything you consent to be true, because now you're going to be tricking the subconscious mind to believe that you now have this, and this is something that you're capable of achieving. And then Vadim Zeland says, when this happens, they can only fully agree on one thing, which is resentment and fear based on those beliefs that you have. So what can be done? The matter involved in material realization is inert like resin. A fortress can only be taken by a long siege. So if you really want to achieve your goal, visualize the slide regularly. Just like I was saying, being persistent and consistent and finding different times during the day whenever you have a chance to visualize or affirm or script, write it down. Create this feeling as much as you possibly can throughout the day and before you're going to sleep. Just like Neville Goddard taught, doing it right before you sleep, you're missing that, you're slipping past that whole process. But sometimes it can be difficult, like he says, to actually image and visualize the thing. But if you work on it all day long, if you're picturing and gathering this feeling and affirming all day long, by the time you're about to get to sleep, then you're going to have a much easier time getting into that feeling state because you've been practicing all day long. So you're not just going throughout the day, reacting to the 3D world all day, and then going right to bed and then trying to change all that, right before you go to sleep. You're working on it all day long, creating this new version of you and taking in these feelings and picturing, doing these goal slides, affirming, all of these things throughout the day. So when you get to bed, you're already ready. So you're doing this quickly. You're already inside of that feeling and creating these new energies and frequencies as you're falling asleep. All right, so that is your exercise that I want you to do. I want you to remember this. I want you to take this in, maybe even make a note, make sticky notes, put them in your car, put them at work, put them in your bathroom, put them on your fridge, put them in your purse, put them in your wallet, put them in your pocket to remind yourself to always, at any moment that you have a chance, don't just let your mind wander. Don't just let your mind wander. Start visualizing, start affirming, start scripting at any time during the day, whatever you're trying to create. Whatever you're trying to create for yourself, start affirming, start scripting, start visualizing whenever you have a chance. Whenever you're at a point where you're waiting for something, use that as an opportunity. Like he says here, a fortress can only be taken by a long siege. So sometimes you have to be persistent and consistent to overcome your past beliefs and the barriers that you have within yourself when your heart and your mind are not connecting, they're not in sync. That's because of your belief systems and what you consent to be true in your world. But as you're persistent with your visualizations and your affirmations, you will overturn or overtake this fortress that has been built from from the past, all your limiting beliefs that have built this fortress. You're going to take it down by a long siege, and sometimes it can be a short siege. Sometimes you can take these barriers down very quickly. And as you go to sleep, continue. Do it as you're going to sleep. Affirm as you're going to sleep. Listen to my meditations, my sleep meditations, my visual scenes, or visualize yourself. Keep visualizing your wish fulfilled as a completed fact as you fall asleep. And as you do it through the day, it's going to be much easier as you get into that sleep mode. And then you're able to create that feeling much easier. All right, that's the end of this video, guys. We're going to be moving on to lesson number 29, which is World, Give Yourself to Me. I love you guys. And don't forget to give me one thing you are grateful for, or any comments or any content you want me to cover for the future, so that way we can create more content together. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.